right? I'm gonna say call on my Yahweh Bashmi Al-Shai, Yahweh being the name of who people call God, whose name is Yahweh in the original Hebrew tongue, and the name of his son Yahweh Shai, who people call Jesus and have been calling Jesus, whose name is Yahweh Shai. All right, in the original Hebrew tongue, the actual Hebrew tongue. Salutations to the elder apostles over the Great Millstone Church and the elder bishops, on down to the rest of the Akim of the branches, also holding on, teaching, pushing this true doctrine and true faith of the Bible across the four corners of the globe, the true understanding. All right. So we are the Hebrew Israelites. And in this lesson, I just want to deal with Proverbs 23 and 33, but it's basically going to be a part two to the previous understanding, pretty much lesson I did dealing with Proverbs 23 and 31, which I spoke upon or broke down what what it meant by look not upon the wine when it is red, when it giveth his color in the cup, when it moveth itself aright. All right, this is basically going to be a continuation of that and more clarification on it too. More of the meaning, the actual meaning, and the more of the juice you should get out of it. All right. So, or more of the meat that you should get off of it, the bone. But yeah, let's just go ahead and get into this. This is Proverbs 23 and 33. It says, "Thine eyes shall behold strange women, and thine heart shall utter perverse things." See that? Let me read it again. "Thine eyes shall behold strange women, and thy heart shall utter perverse things." Exactly. So it's basically dealing with, being careful of how you hear. Like Yahweh Shai said, he said, "Take heed how ye hear." All right. Again, dealing with being not confident in the plain way. You know what I'm saying? Don't be simple. All that glitter ain't gold. Is many false prophets out here. All right. Take heed who you listen to. If you listening to people that's bugged out, you're gonna be bugged out. All right. Understand that there are many wolves in sheep's clothing. That's what this is dealing with. Because it says that I shall behold strange women. That's dealing with doctrines, different spirits. See that? And that heart, see that meaning mind, because that word heart, let's just get it. That word heart, for those that don't know, is lob, meaning what?
Strong's H 3820. Lave.
Mind, but hence the knowledge. More so in this sense, the knowledge. See that? The knowledge, the thinking, the reflection, the memory. All right. The emotions, the passions, the courage, but basically simply your mind, where all them things are held at. It's going to bring forth bugged out things that contradict the scriptures, things that take away from the scriptures, things that's not even of the scriptures, that's of different books. You see what I'm saying? "Thine eyes shall behold strange women, and thy heart shall utter perverse things." All right. So let's go ahead and kick that off to show you this. This is 1 John 4, testing the spirits. See that? Key word, spirits, right? Key letter, S, making spirit plural, right? It's many spirits. Dealing with what? 1 John 4 and 1, "Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits." See, beloved, believe not. Let's get that word believe, right? Got the word pistio.
Strong's G 4100. Pistuo.
It says, mere acknowledgement of some fact. see, or event. Intellectual faith. See that? It says mere acknowledgement of some fact or event. So basically be careful who you get your facts from, you know? Be careful who you being persuaded of when it comes to what? The knowledge of the Bible. When it comes to knowledge, period, but the knowledge of the Bible, the knowledge of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. You know, the knowledge of who people just loosely call God, because it could be any God they talking about. All right, the scriptures also go into that too. Let's get this. And talk about what? Another one coming that preaches what? Another Jesus, as they call him. But this word here actually is Yahushua. See that? They come basically one that come preaching another Messiah. The Messiah that actually came, that walked in the flesh, that people are to confess, and if they don't, they are antichrist, anti-Messiah, right there against him, right there against the actual anointed one. Was a so-called black man from the tribe of Judah, right, who didn't come, right, for everybody. He came from the Israelites, and he died specifically for the elect, those that had eyes to hear, eyes to see, and ears to hear. You see that? Those, because he went unto his own, as it says, but his own received him not. See that? But as many as did out of his own, see that? Thus proving he only came for his own, the Israelites. As many as did of those Israelites received him, to them he gave power to become the sons of God. See that? That's 1 John. So you got to be careful of who is telling you about the Messiah and so forth. All right? And I'm going to get that just to prove that this is, see, the deity of a Mashiach. What does it mean when you, what do they mean, Salakia? Meaning sorry. Forgive me. What does it mean when they say the deity? Give me a second. Yeah, it was tripping, so we're going to do it like this. The deity. It says deity can, this is the Merriam-Webster dictionary, deity can refer to the rank or essential nature. See, the rank or, see, the actual power he's been given, or essential nature, the things that, the way he got down, the way he operates, the way he thinks, see? And that's that, all right?
Deity.
It says what? Divine status, quality, right? So it's dealing with that first John 1, St. John 1 is dealing with the quality, the stature, or the nature, divine stature or the nature of Yahushua is dealing with all that, all right? Just simply, what was he about? You know, to say the least. So let's come back here. This is John 1 and 1. Well, John 1, I'm going to jump to the point. It says, John 1 and 10, he was in the world. He was in the world, and the world was made by him, meaning he did actually come to this planet Earth. He did manifest on this planet Earth through, you know, the Israelite race, through specifically the tribe of Judah, you know, through a man, made of the seed of man. You see that? You got people teach otherwise. You see that? That was his divine status. That was, you know, he was one that was actually the son of God, but was able to be born and still being born through the seed of man. You see that? And compacted in a woman, you know, in a time of, you know, 9 months, 10 months, roughly paraphrasing, Wisdom of Solomon in the 7th chapter. All right? He was in the world. And that world specifically was what? The world of Israel. That was in subjugation to the world of Esau. Right? This is why he came to his people. See that? But he was in the world, and the world was made by him, and the world knew him not. He came unto his own, and his own received him not. See, he came unto his own. His own dealing with what? His people. You know? Let's see what they put for this word own. Pertaining to one, so one's own. All right? So severally their own. All right? So it's dealing with his own race. All right, Romans 9 deals with that. Paul broke that down. Look, one's fellow countrymen. See? Look, their own national. See that? And their native tongue. All right? It says our own things, an example, house, family, property. All right? So he literally only came to the Israelites, man. Like, this is more proof going into that. All right? Call on Yahweh Shema Shah. All right? So read on. So he came unto his own. So he came unto his own, and his own received him not, Salakia, but as many as received him, to them gave he power, right, to become the sons of God, even to them that believe on his name. And that's dealing with Israelites. Matthew 15, Matthew 10, Isaiah 9, and 6. The Lord sent the word into Israel, and it had lighted upon Jacob. He wasn't sent to nobody else, man. No, not 9 and 6, it's 9 and 8. The Lord sent the word into Jacob, and it had lighted upon Israel. All right, and y'all already know this, bro. God's anger with Israel's arrogance. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, let's come back here. So that's that. So if somebody come talking about some, a Messiah that came, to do something else, they preaching another, I'm gonna give you one more. They're preaching another Yahushua, man. They preaching another Messiah. That's not the Messiah that came. This is Galatians 4. And I'm gonna jump to the point. It says 4, but when the fullness of the time was come, the Most High God, right, Yahweh sent forth his son. See that? Made of a woman, made under the law, right? And the way it's made of a woman is it being by man. It's made of a woman by being made of a woman is being in the womb of a woman, where the bones and everything grow, because seed, was conceived of a man. That's the only way you are made of a woman. That's the only reason Yahweh Shah was able to die. If it was an actual angel that she conceived through, Yahweh Shah wouldn't have been able to die. It makes no sense any other way. You see that? But it's many people out here telling you otherwise, man. You got even dudes talking about they Israelites, man. So that's why we going into this Proverbs 23 and 33. See, so again, but when the fullness of the time was come, Yahweh sent forth his son, made of a woman, made under the law. See, she was an Israelite herself, to redeem them that were under the law. See, the rest of the Israelites, that we might receive the adoption of sons. See that we would be brought back to the Heavenly Father. That's why the word adoption is used. It's not that we was just becoming sons. We was always his sons. It was so we can get back ultimately to our original estate with him, which is truly in the Garden of Eden as the sons of God. See that? And because ye are sons, see, before we was Israel, we was known as the sons of God. But then we fell through Adam and Eve, But I'll say less. It says, Yahweh has sent forth his son, sent forth the spirit of his son into your hearts, crying, Abba, Father. And that, I'm going to say it, this Yahweh Shah was that Adam. If you can receive it or not. And they tell you that in the New Testament. So that's it, man. So the Lord is this Lord that's being confessed right now. The Messiah that came is the one that's being brought out right now. So when you go back to this 2 Corinthians 11, for if he that cometh preacheth another Yahweh Shah, another Jesus, whom we have not preached, or if ye receive another spirit, which we have not received. See, it'd be strange to you then, right? Or another gospel, which ye have not accepted. Ye might well bear with him. But my point of getting this is dealing with what? And then it's the spirit. We're going to come back here, Adawan Ratazah. which is how this is, this right here in the third verse is how this video that I said, which I said from the beginning, was basically going to be a continuation of look not at the cup while it's wet, red. Because meaning that's dealing with everybody that, just because the brother bringing out the truth, hence the Bible, that don't mean they telling the truth. Just because a mug, saying something or quoting the Bible, that don't mean it's right. Just because they preaching on the highway, that don't mean they sent. You see that? Because the scriptures tell you if they speak not according to this word, it's because there is no light in him. And you know, because the things they're saying is basically foreign to you because you only read, because you're not following what they're saying in the only reference you deal with, and that's the Bible. You're not finding what they're saying in the Bible, so it's strange, it's foreign. The Lord ain't talking about that. You see that? So basically, they're bringing forth Yahweh Shai, like the scriptures say, some indeed preach Yahweh Shai for strife and content. You see that? And not sincerely. So they're not really bringing forth the blood of Yahweh Shai. They're not bringing forth the truth which was in the blood of Yahweh Shai, hence the blood of Yahweh Shai. That's why you don't look at the cup, the wine. That's what they're really going into is false prophets. Doctrine. You see that? When it is red and it moveth itself aright, because it could come off like that, but it could be something completely else, hence the serpent. See that? And that's how you know that's what that's talking about, because when you go back to Proverbs 23 and let's start at 33 and we're going to jump up. Thine eye shall behold strange women and thy heart shall utter perverse things. When you jump to 31, it says, look not upon the wine when it is red, when it giveth his color in the cup, when it moveth itself aright. At the last, it bited like a serpent. See, it wasn't really wine. It wasn't as plain as you thought it was. It wasn't the truth. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he really wasn't sent. Oh, they out here with garments, but they don't even believe in this. And then you got dudes out here who don't even believe in reincarnation, man. And the Lord preached that. It says, at the last, it bited like a serpent and stinged like an adder. See that? Because you find out these niggas Satan. You see that? That's what that's dealing with. All right? That's how Satan get out. You got to remember the scriptures tell you that what? He's transformed himself. No marvel, for Satan himself has transformed himself into the angels of light, man. So you got to understand these things. This is 2 Corinthians 11 and 13. For such are apostles. For such are false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into the apostles of Christ. Hamashiach. See that? Bringing forth the wine, the red. Like these dudes talking about the new covenant and shit. These niggas demons. You know what I'm saying? Because here it is, they'll tell you all that, but they don't even push none of the other scriptures, or they bringing out other books. Bug the fuck out, bro. You see that? But it says, and no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. And then they don't even really agree with one another. They don't like nobody. They don't submit to the elders. They fucking demons. And then you tell them this, they can't even see it. Gone. But they got the eye salve. So that's how Satan get down though. He's like it say in Revelation, the 13th chapter, how you got some that speak as a lamb or that look like a lamb, but they speak as a dragon. See that? When you actually listen to them. So they'll come off, they'll have the appearance of a sheep. You see that? They'll come off like wine, move itself right and everything, but deep down in reality, it's a damn toxic drink. It's not even wine. It's blood. It's a wolf in sheep's clothing. It's a damn dragon, man. It's Satan himself. It's a nigga that actually don't believe in the scriptures. That's what it's talking about. See that? It says, for such are false apostles, the deceitful workers. See, they work, but they work it deceitfully. You have to understand that. The scriptures tell you that in Jeremiah, the 48th chapter. Woe unto him that doeth the work of the Lord deceitfully. and keepeth his sword back from blood. So you got those that do the work of the Lord, but they doing it deceitfully. They doing it for filthy lucre's sake, all of that. T.D. Jakes not no man of the Lord. I don't give a dang how often consistent he is with holding the Bible and standing in front of all these so-called black people talking. Lying. Geno Jenkins, not a man of the Lord. You're going to know them by their fruits. See that? It says, transforming themselves into the apostles of Mashiach. And no marvel, for Satan himself. And what is Satan known as? The serpent. Revelation 12:8. Right? Got to bring this out. So this is a continuation of that video. It's letting you know what this actually is dealing with, doctrine. But it also is a message of having discernment, discretion, perception, having prudence, having that X-ray vision, not being simple, being analytical, considering, reasoning. You see that? Proving. That's what it's a message of, but it's really dealing with what? False doctrine. This is a Revelation 12 and 9. It says, and that great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. See that? And that's not talking about the spiritual demon Satan. That's talking about the so-called white man and all those that do his bidding. Because the Lord, he used Satan, man. Anyway, this is 2 Corinthians 11. And again, and yeah, they working by Satan. But again, anyway, man, the Lord, he's not getting rid of the balance of good and evil. He's just gonna switch the balance. The balance is off balance right now, which is evil leading more than good is leading. Because we're in the world of the world of Esau, which is the kingdom of death. So it's about to just be flipped, and we're gonna be in the world of Jacob, which is the kingdom of everlasting life. The kingdom of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. See that? But evil not gonna be done away with. That don't make no sense. Because in that case, like, how we gonna judge anything? You see that? How we gonna teach? If all wrong is, what Satan is used to bring forth is done away with, because he's done away with. It's not happening. See that? It says, and no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. All right. Therefore, it is no great thing if his ministers also be transformed as the ministers of righteousness, whose end shall be according to those to their works. So we're gonna go back to where we just at. All right, Salakia. Proverbs 23:31. Look not thou upon the wine when it is red, when it giveth his color, when it moveth itself aright. At the last it biteth like a serpent, and stingeth like an adder. Thine eye shall behold strange women, and thine heart shall utter perverse things. See that? Because really, they false prophets, and you was able to be put in front of them and listen to them because you just took them at face value. So you took them as ones that's out here doing the work, brothers that know they Israelites, sisters that know they Israelites, but whole time, you looked at the glory of them, the beauty of them, like Solomon. The whole time they was gonna turn your heart out, and it's impossible for you to, like, it tell you, this is one of my favorite scriptures too. It tell you right here, it say, can thou take fire in thy bosom and not be burned? Proverbs 6:27. Can a man take fire? See that? That's fire, man. I'm gonna read 26 too. But can a man take fire in his bosom and in his clothes and not be burned? See that? Can one go upon hot coals and his feet not be burned? Exactly. You can't hear bugged out stuff that's gonna stop you from enduring and think you gonna keep enduring. That's gonna throw you off in your walk and think you're not gonna be thrown off in your walk. Like, nah, it's impossible, bro. It says verse 26, so you gotta take heed how you hear, man. and understand there's going to be, grievous wolves creeped in that's not going to spare the flock, so forth and so on. So that's what that's dealing with. It says, for by means of a whorish woman is a man brought to a piece of bread, in verse 26. It says, and the adulterers will hunt for the precious life, exactly like a wolf, a sheep. See that? And the whorish woman is is really men going the hell off. That Jezebel spirit. It says, can a man take fire in his bosom and his clothes and not be burnt? No, that's like following the blind, that's about to fall into a ditch, but you following him, but thinking you ain't gonna fall in the ditch. You're gonna fall into the ditch too. And you gotta be able to see that. All right. So that's pretty much the point, I just gotta read that in 2 Corinthians one last time, and that'll be it. So again, look not at the cup when it is red. Look not upon the wine when it is red. Right? Just don't look at it at face value. Don't just look at that part. When it give it his color, in the cup, when it move itself right. You don't just assess wine to be wine like that. The true wine to be the truth like that. The truth to be, truth upon just those surface level things. Because at the last, it bited like a serpent and stinged like an adder. It could be something that take you out. It wasn't even really they wasn't really the men. It wasn't really, It says that eye shall behold strange woman and thy heart shall utter perverse things. See that? Thy eye shall behold strange woman and thy heart shall utter perverse things. So my point of really bringing that out was to say stay away from, like the point of it. My point of bringing it out was the message of it, the point of it being written. Don't think you could be, hear these crazy doctrines, crazy stuff, and you ain't gonna be affected, man. You don't just go listening to anybody. Let me see what this. You might not be built. So you need to stay away from that. But ultimately, if you're the elect, there's no enchantment against the Jacob, man. All right, so 2 Corinthians 11, and we're going to start at verse 3, and that'll be it. But I fear lest by any means, as the serpent, see that, beguiled Eve through his subtlety, so your mind should be corrupted from the simplicity that is in Hamashiach. Exactly, be not confident in the plain way. For if he that cometh, right, that's doing the work, that's done did this video, that got to bring his Bible to you or whatever, right, preaches another Messiah than the one that's actually written, the one that's being preached outside of the doctrine, the elder apostles of the great millstone church on down. The doctrine here, bro, is over. That ain't it. It says whom we have not preached, or whom we have not preached. If it ain't the ones that the apostles of old was preaching, it ain't it. It says, if ye receive another, which is the same one. It says, if ye receive another spirit which ye have not received, or another gospel which ye have not accepted, you might bear well with him. So that's all it's going into, avoid these people at all costs. Because again, 1 John 4:1, I'll end it here. Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits whether they are of God, because many false prophets are gone out into the world. See that? Hereby ye know the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Every spirit that confesses that Yahweh Shah HaMashiach is come in the flesh is of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. And every spirit that confesses not that Yahweh Shah HaMashiach is come in the flesh is not of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. And that is the spirit of Antichrist, Anti-Mashiach, whereof ye have heard that it should come, and even now already it is in the world. So yeah, that's basically it. I'm going to say call on my Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua till next time.